What in the world are we going to do? Look at what everybody's going through. What kind of world do you want it to be? Am I the future or the history?
Welcome back, everyone, to Resolutions and Revelations, a Climax episode. Surprise, surprise, there's actually no one around me. There's no Finchy, I don't see Bob anywhere, I don't see anyone. It's actually just going to be me, Ryan, today, alone, talking to you, listeners, fans, anybody, quite honestly. I'm talking to you alone because you're listening to this at the end of the year. And as I am too, people tend to introspect, self-analyze, and dig deep into the roots of their problems. By the end of the year, they try and have these grand revelations and set resolutions to try and fix them. And I guess I'm here because I'm trying to relate to you all by, I guess, self-analyzing myself. Because I think everybody in life has different people that they wish that they could talk to, different lessons they've learned from good and bad experiences. And at the end of the day, all that really matters is that not necessarily they be resolved, but that you learn to grow from these different experiences, and more importantly, you be better. It's always about being better. Don't you think, Finchy? Wait, there's no one around me. Okay, that's the last time I make that joke. And so I guess I'm talking to you because in the lessons that I've learned this year and to the people that I want to talk to, I think everybody can relate to that. I think everyone has these people that they want to reach out to, that they feel have a problem, that they feel they've learned from. Whatever it may be, it's important. And so in my life, the first person I'd like to thank or reach out to is my friend Everett. Everett was a long-time friend of mine, and it seems as though this year we just kind of drifted apart. Different fights, he said, she said, stories. Remind you of anyone you know in your life? It became a little juvenile. And so to Everett, I say thank you, because you taught me that life is not about small, stupid, juvenile behaviors that can perhaps lead you astray, or hopefully lead you to a better life. Everett and I were so tight. We used to see each other almost every day. We used to talk all the time. And then it seemed as if Everett just stopped completely. And you know what? I think people have that in their lives. People have dealt with those kinds of friends. And personally, that's okay. We all have friends like that. But I think what we could learn from someone like that is to understand that life is not meant to have the same people in our lives all the time. And the Everetts in our lives come and go. And we have to just embrace the good times and also understand that that kind of person will likely eventually realize, whether or not their life was a mess or not, that, they can be better. And so you just have to let it happen on their own time. That I think, having spoken to a lot of people before recording this, know that everyone has an Everett in their life. Everyone. No? It seems to me like as people grow up, it's all about understanding that we can't be loved and liked and appreciated by everyone. It seems that at a young age, everyone needs to feel that sense of belonging and appreciation. But we don't. We don't really need that. What matters most is content. And that's why the next person I want to, I guess, address or talk to is, let's call her Madame Bambino. Madame Bambino is that person in your life. You could call it a friend, you could call it a spouse, you could call it a partner. It could be anyone. But you feel connected to them. You feel like you can finish each other's sentences. You feel like even if you were to go away for years, if you saw them again after a while, you knew you still had that bond. Until Madame Bambino decides to, I guess, go on a bit of a spree, should we say? That person who just, I guess, goes off into the deep end. That person who is loved by everyone but doesn't know how much she's loved. And in my personal experience, Madame Bambino and I were very close until all of a sudden I felt this absence. I felt this distance for whatever reason. Quite honestly, it doesn't matter. But what does matter to you, Madame Bambino, and to the Madame Bambinos of the world, is that it's important to not stay too deep in your own bubble. It is important, Madame Bambino, to make sure that you know that you are loved outside of that bubble. And that eventually, unless you want to lose yourself, eventually you have to come out. Eventually you need to realize that there is another alternative, or there are other alternatives that may lead you back on the righteous path, back on track, back into a life that makes you happy and not others happy. Because it's nice to believe that we want to give ourselves to things that are bigger than us. But what's the point in doing that if we're not even happy ourselves? Just my 2 cents. The more and more I talk, the more I realize that there are different people in our lives that can frustrate us very much. In different ways, I love Everett and I love Madame Bambino. But at the same time, I'm also extremely frustrated with them, as are everyone who have these people in their lives. And that doesn't necessarily mean disassociate with them. It means give them time. Because maybe you listening, you are an Everett, or you are Madame Bambino. And you either need time to just come out of your shell, or you just need to find a better path for yourself to get on the right track. In that case, I'm talking about Everett, of course. A better path. It's funny because I never thought I'd be alone just talking about these things, and it's funny, I'm wondering what Bob would tell me right now, and he would say, what's the point? Why are you saying all these things? Well, it's because I think in every experience, in every person, there is a lesson that can be taught, learned, and used every day. Like with, say, for example, Bruce Wayne. another person, friend, family member, partner, close to me. Bruce Wayne has given everything to a wife, to something else, to someone else. He's put all of his effort into people other than himself. But Bruce Wayne needs to invest in himself a little. Bruce Wayne needs to realize that he has some worth. Bruce Wayne is the best. You should see him when he goes out. Everybody loves him. He is the heart of the party and the very core of my spirit. And I'm very grateful to have Bruce Wayne in my life. But eventually, when you keep giving to others, you build cracks in your own foundation. And there is no way you can fix that unless you take care of yourself. You fill those cracks with clay. You invest in your opportunities and your success. Fuck everyone else. Sure, your family is important, but you're old enough. How long has it been? Do you feel like you're treating yourself in life? Do you feel content? What actually is going on? Bruce Wayne can be anybody. And there's a little secret that I guess I'll get to at the end of all this, but everyone either is or has these people in their lives. And that's okay. Some people may even find themselves associating their personalities with multiple people that I name. And that's okay. Because I think if there's one thing I've learned from Bruce, it's that you must take care of yourself. Set that as a resolution. Understand that that is so important. It's quite the revelation once you fully understand that concept. Taking care of yourself. It doesn't mean be selfish. It doesn't mean be an asshole. It just means love yourself as equally as you would love others. I know, it's cliche after cliche. Why is he rambling? You know what? It's a good thing to just get these people off your chest. Vent. Talk about it. I think many of you can agree with that. Getting things off your chest is why art and expression even exist, right? Because if you just hold it in, what the hell is going to happen to you? You're going to burn up inside. And if you don't, well, then power to you. Some people are just a lot stronger. Some people are just purely logical and don't let these things affect them. Like my buddy Dave. I am so appreciative of Dave because Dave reminds me every day, and I will cherish this lesson, especially in the coming year. Dave reminds me that it is absolutely crucial to always keep logic at the forefront. Be courageous, be considerate, be empathetic, but make sure you make sense. Shouldn't your life make sense? Shouldn't you not have to backtrack on things that you've done in the last 24 hours and think, did any of that make sense? Should I have even gone out until 5 a.m.? Why did I stay up all night? Am I properly nourishing my own life? Dave does. And he is a mighty fine example. So thank you, Dave. Because without you, I don't know where I'd be. And I cherish the fact that I have your friendship and you in my life. Because without you, logic would not be at the forefront. No, sir. Let's keep going. I know, life lessons. Most importantly, people can say carpe diem, which means seize the day. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Life lessons are hard because to most people we see them as platitudes. We see them as things that are just words, rules that can be bent, life lessons and experiences that can be championed. But no. All it is human instruction. Self-human instruction. This is how I should be. This is how you should be. And there are people in my life and your life that you must keep around. And there are others you must eventually let go. Which brings me to Marie. Marie is like my heart. She's like my soul. She's my humor. She is not just beautiful, but she has a spirit that never backs down. And that while it may be fragile, reminds me that no matter how tough things may get, Marie puts up with it. Marie is that person who has been dealt a shitty hand and who is becoming the comeback king. She's doing well in school after being told she probably couldn't read. She's making amends with parents, even though she may have a complete garbage relationship with one, or no relationship. Who knows? But she's leading by example. And she's showing that no matter how many people can doubt you, it's important to never back down. It's important to show that people's judgment doesn't mean shit when you believe in yourself. Thank you, Marie. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. And I hope people listening to this show a little love to Marie. Because whether or not she's going through a hard time, she's powering through. And she deserves a little recognition. Next we have Princess. Princess is my favorite. Princess lives in her castle, waiting for Mario to come to... Did I really just use Peach and Mario as an example? Ugh! God, kill me. But Princess is waiting for Mario to rescue her. But not in the kill Bowser kind of way. More in the pull me out of this routine life. Mario's hard to find. And Princess, believe it or not, your wall is very easy to shatter. You're sensitive. People can influence you. But you're also very strong and tough. It's this weird dichotomy between fragility and sturdiness. Frankly, I don't understand it at all. But if there's one thing I've learned from Princess, it's that you can't just accept or take everything that people say at face value, because They're trying to hurt you. They're trying to get at you before Mario does. They're trying to dictate how you should live your life. Fuck them. Who cares? What matters most is that you not allow anyone to be able to dictate your life for you and have that kind of hold on you. You don't just need to build a thicker skin. You need to know that you already have it. It's just a matter of whether you want to tap into it or not. And I know this sounds familiar to most of you. This could be your mom, your brother, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner. You name it. The multitude of people it can be. How do you help them build a thicker skin? You can't just build a thicker skin. But it just so happens that everybody already has one. It's a matter of bringing it out. It's a matter of stepping up and showing that person, either by letting them know how strong they are, how brave they are, how beautiful they are, that they actually don't need to put up with anything anyone ever says. Because the reason that princess is a princess is because she's also driven. She's also successful. She's beautifully happy, if that makes any sense. And last but not least, she is precious. But much like a diamond, diamonds are the toughest to crack. Because they're the hardest. So be a diamond. And finally, we get to two lost souls that may find each other again one day, but for now are apart. And their names are Ross and Rachel. Ross and Rachel liked each other, much like Ross and Rachel did, but not only that, developed a very deep friendship. They grew to love each other. They grew to be there for each other. And most importantly, they helped each other grow. But, much like on Friends, things ended. Kind of in a nasty way. And yet, they never stopped caring for each other. They never stopped loving each other. But it was time they moved forward. From each other. For now. And in seeing my two friends together, I see a complete mess. I see one person, Ross, a passionate romantic who would stop at nothing to show Rachel that he loved her. He just wanted to try and make her happy because he saw that she was unhappy with everything. He just wanted to see her smile a little bit. But in doing so, he trapped her. Because Rachel is a smart, independent woman. And both would tell me different things about the opposite person. And I could see it from the outside. Which is too bad, because if only they both realized what they needed to do to actually fix what was so precious from the beginning, maybe they'd still be together right now. But such is not the case. Rachel is tough. She's independent. She's smart. She's stubborn. She's a little obnoxious. She has a very strange sense of humor. Ross has a very open sense of humor, meaning he's not funny and he's just good at parties. Remind you of anyone? And Ross was someone who was just trying to do a bit of everything in life to try and satisfy the different parts. And so in seeing how they acted apart and together, even now, I've learned so much from both of them. Ross is now far more focused. He's sharper. He's a lot more rougher around the edges. He's no longer a pushover, unfortunately. He's a little too rigid. He won't put up with anything anymore. And Rachel, well, I don't want to say she's become the opposite, but she's still looking for her roots. You might say it's a permanent identity crisis that may never be fixed. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't know who she is. But she's finding herself. And as we speak, I think she has found herself. But the difficulty is that even though you found yourself, that doesn't mean you get to act any which way. Because Rachel, again, I'm an outsider. I was just friends with these two people. And that's why I'm talking about it. But Rachel, even though she may have found herself now, needs to contemplate one thing. What is actually important in life? Is it self-image? Is it material well-being? Being rich, having a nice house? Or is it just being happy and doing things that make you happy? The same goes for Ross, and I think it's too bad because I think if there's anything Ross would want to tell Rachel, it's, I'm sorry. He's sorry he bent over. No pun intended there. Sometimes people need space to heal. And if you're there at every step of the way, Ross, although I think you know this, even if you give someone the most love ever, if someone feels trapped, if someone feels lost, and all you keep trying to do is spoon feed them, how are they ever going to crack the code themselves? And while you're putting in so much effort into Rachel, what are you doing for yourself? It's nice that you've hardened up now, but what the fuck? Why are you trying to spread yourself so thin? Why did you care so much about what other people thought? Why did you put up and tolerate with so many people that took advantage of you? You talk a big game, but I certainly hope that you never have to be that young little boy ever again. Ross is a man now. Do you hear me? Do you all hear me? And Rachel, just because someone didn't give you that space, in this case, Ross, that doesn't mean you get to toy with him the way you did. And now you're both leading your own lives. You're both, with other people. You're both off doing your own things. But you, Rachel, are very special. And I hope you realize that. And understand that all that noise in the background, all those things that you thought were important, they're not. All that matters is you and your internal well-being. That's it. Forget everyone and everything else. I hope you've found space to heal, like Ross did. It's funny, because what I've learned from these two, and they're friends of mine, but as they destroyed each other at the end, and, it was all this, romantic garbage, and I'm so glad I'm not in that. But they both talked to me about it, One's telling me, he's being watched, and the other's telling me, oh, well, I see him too often around where I live, and all these different things. It's all stupid. It's so stupid. It's strange because they're both trying to stay away from each other as much as they possibly can. And yet, whether they go to a friend's house who lives right next to her, or go to a bus station that's right where he is coming out of a metro, they run into each other a lot. And that's okay. But looking at these people, you can see that they're clearly trying to give each other some space and not have to deal with each other for a long time. And what we can learn from that is that when it comes to, relationships or people in general, there are only two so very important things. Chemistry, check, and timing. And with Ross and Rachel, timing was never there. And so if either of them think a break was necessary, more Rachel. The other person should just say, yeah, okay. Give it to them. You should have given it to her, Ross. Not in that way. Giving her the break. Number one rule of breaking up with someone: when they break up with you, give them the breakup. I hope you all cherish that advice very much. Give it to them. Don't be a baby. Don't try and make weird mementos to try and honor whatever you had. That person already knew. You hear me, Ross? So it's important to actually learn from where you've come from. Learn from the people around you. On this New Year's Eve, I hope that in talking about all these people, whether it be Rachel, Ross, Everett, Madame Bambino, Princess, Dave, Marie, or Bruce Wayne, you understand and realize that there's a bit of all of these people in every single person around you, including yourself. And we can't just run away from these facts. In fact, we have to embrace them. Embrace the fact that people are not perfect. Embrace the fact that we have an opportunity to grow and learn from every single experience ever. And in this new year, I hope that you learn that not only do you not have to deal with anybody you don't want to, but that it's okay to make mistakes. And when the timing is right, and if you keep dancing, even when the lights go out, you may actually prevail. Happy New Year, everyone.